Hello, it's Bob again, and welcome to yet another episode on the White Dog Garage YouTube channel. The wife, the dog and I like to go camping in the great Australian outdoors. Well, maybe the dog doesn't, but she comes along anyhow. Some time ago, we bought this camp table. Folds out, so it's quite quick to set up. The problem is, with its hoop legs, it's not very stable on uneven ground. So, it tends to rock a bit. Great if you're trying to get the baby to sleep, not so good if you're trying to have a cup of coffee. We could replace the legs of course, but more recently we thought it would be better if we had a table that hung off the side of the vehicle. So what I'm going to do in this episode is convert this table into one that will hang off the side of the vehicle, and I thought you'd like to come along for the ride. So this is the vehicle we use for camping, and we thought the table might sit somewhere like here, hang off the side. We're not going to look at support legs as such, instead we're going to have it completely attached to the vehicle and supported by the vehicle. The idea I've got at the moment is that I'll fold a piece of sheet metal that will drop down over this ridge here, will be connected to the table, and then I'll have some stays that run back to the rope rail underneath. Originally I thought about having a more permanent attachment there which just clipped into place, but it occurred to me that I might want to move it around the vehicle. One of the things I need to do is work out how I'm going to fold the mount that goes over this ridge here. So the best way to do this is to get a piece of straight wire. I've already bent this one, but basically get a piece of straight wire and fold it at the points that you're going to have to fold for the sheet metal. Then take it back to the workshop and fold your sheet metal to match, rather than just taking measurements. And you can take measurements and sometimes it doesn't quite translate. I'm going to start the modification by removing the leg hoops and other pieces that won't be needed. They have a rivet system holding the legs on, and I find the easiest way to deal with these is by just drilling the ends off. The hoop legs and bracing brackets won't be discarded entirely. Some of it will be recycled to provide stays that will prop up the table from the rope bar at the bottom of the vehicle tray. When the rivet starts to spin like these do, I find the easiest way to force them is to just tip the drill so that it suddenly wants to go off to the side. I'm using a sheet of stainless steel to make the hook bracket. So I first need to cut the length that the bracket's going to be, and then the width. This is the wire template that I ended up with. So the total distance around here is 215 millimetres.
which becomes the depth of the bracket.
And it's off to the guillotine to cut it out. Stainless steel is not an easy thing to cut.
To stop the sheet springing up as it is cut, I have clamped the opposite side. Then it was on to bending the sheet to make the bracket.
Well, it was a bit of a fight to get it cut and bent up, but here it is, it's done. This is the bracket that will hold it on to the canopy. I don't normally use stainless steel. It's hard on the tooling, hard on everything really, but it provides a very sturdy fixture for not a lot of weight for this purpose, so it was something good to use. You probably have noticed that I've kept the coating side, and when you're ready to go, the coating will just peel off and you're left with a nice shiny side, and of course your inside becomes the work side, the dirty side.
Then I drilled holes in the bracket to bolt it to the table. I then drilled a set of corresponding holes in the table to mount the bracket. Then it was on to bolting the bracket to the table end. I used bolts instead of the more convenient and lighter blind rivets because they are a more reliable fixture for outdoor use.
So with this bracket now on, it's time to move on to some stays to support the table. What I've done is I've recycled the original hoop legs and I've cut 2 bars, 600 millimeters long, 2 foot long thereabouts. Another bar that runs across the table. 2 small pieces of flat steel which will go on the end of the crossbar and will be used to provide a pivot mount on the table. And at the other end, where it goes onto the rope bar, I recycled the bracing brackets to make these 2 U-shaped supports which will go on the rope bar of the vehicle. All I've got to do now is just shape these ends ready for a bit of welding.
The steel that was used in the hoop legs is light gauge and coated with a silicon-rich paint. So, to overcome any problems with weld contamination, I use oxy-acetylene welding to bring it all together. Having made sure the frame was still square, I went on to weld it out. With the basic frame done, I welded tabs to the end of the crossbar. These will have holes drilled in them for the pivot bolts, which will be used to attach the frame to the underside of the table. Finally, I attached the U-shapes that will enable the stay arms to catch the rope bar at the bottom of the vehicle's tray. Back at the vehicle this time, I positioned the support frame under the table. Then, making sure the table was square to the vehicle's canopy, I marked the position for the pivot bolts. Back in the workshop, I drilled holes at these marks and fitted the support frame. I'm happy with the table. Thanks for watching.